guys, Shiba Inu wants to break out and up so badly. It has now done this 3 times in 1 week. We've seen a very consistent trend 8 out of the last 9 days. And right now we're on the verge of kind of these breakouts across the crypto market. And it's a question of, do we have enough this week to carry us on some extensions? I think that we're going to see some shakeouts this week. I do think we have a lot of volatility, a lot of volume. And I want to talk about just a couple things going on in the market. So if you guys are new or haven't already, show your support for the channel down below. Hit that subscribe button, that bell. It's free to do. It'll keep you updated anytime there's new content live here on the channel. So Shiba Inu is printing a little bit of red today, down 0.6% or so. That's not bad after yesterday being up 3%. Right now we're seeing a little bit of ebbs and flows in the market to start the day. It's trying to make a decision. And, I'm filming this before US money wakes up. We'll obviously see what the very distinct trend is once we hit 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. But I will say there's been a very consistent trend from large entities in the space, and that has been accumulation. Some enterprises buying this morning. MicroStrategy, I believe, is going to be buying this morning. Institutional money, I think, is going to be a big buy week this week unless we get some negative surprises in the market. And again, if you guys missed my deadline video from the other day, you should check it out. A couple big things to pay attention to. The tariff letters go out today. Trade deadline is on Wednesday. So those are things that will probably cause some volatility in the market. Now, Shiba Inu has broken above this 20-day moving average 3 times in the last week. All right. Back here on the 29th, back here again on the 2nd, and again yesterday. This has been very consistent. SHIB is putting a lot of pressure on the roof. All right. It's trying to raise the roof right now, and we'll see if it can do it. But the more that SHIB bangs its head against it, the more likely it is to break up. It doesn't always work out in our favor. We've done this, before where we've gotten rejected and come down, but understand that SHIB is trying to print basically this same trend that it did again back here in April, like we were talking about. Ethereum is pushing really hard at trying to extend from its current ranges. BTC is currently broken out. So there's a lot of things that are trying to carry the market higher. And I'm talking about this more in an ADA video coming later today, but we're getting to this point where the sellers in the market have become extremely exhausted. And I know I talked about this in terms of SHIB the other day. I had another question pop up on it this morning. Guys, SHIB volume is low because there's not much wash trading going on. There's not a bunch of SHIB available on exchanges. And most people are unwilling to play with their bags at this point. Yes, we'll cry and complain about price, and guys, it is what it is. And we've also gotten to this point where although people will cry and complain, they're unwilling to dump their bags. It's because right now we're kind of sitting in the floor for SHIB, we'll call it. Obviously, there's no guarantees or financial advice or anything like that, but there's a lot of upside potential from these ranges because, again, you keep bouncing off that, eventually you get a very strong bounce, and that's what we're trying to build into right now. Again, I will say we still have a bullish cross on the weekly stochastic RSI that's still working in our favor. And right now, what we're seeing in terms of BTC dominance is the start of potentially an extension down, a little bit of a breakdown, right? We do have to break this longer term trend, which sits at about 65% or so. So if we can breach that and start breaching this 50-day moving average, again, we're trying to make an extension down to that 100-day. And that's going to be a pretty exciting thing for alts. But something I want to point to as well for Shiba Inu is the trends are remaining very consistent. Actually, 8 out of the last 9 days have been whale accumulation day. They've been small, and that's because obviously SHIB again did get a nice bounce off of its floor. Down here is when the whales were buying really, really heavily. And the good news is that the whales are still buying. They're still building out their positions. Now, I haven't talked about exchange supply in a while because it hasn't really been doing a whole lot. We've been kind of stuck at this range of about 84 trillion SHIB available on exchanges. Guys, that's not much in relation to the supply. All right. It's kind of in line with many other of the top assets in the space. And the supply for Shiba Inu just seems to kind of dwindle and dwindle and dwindle over time as people have bought these dips and bought these dips and bought these dips. And all we need now is just kind of a big rip in the market. And it seems like what we're getting set up for is a nice extended rally. All right. And why they're going to probably do that is to suck a lot of the people in that are on the sidelines, to do some selling. People will say, oh, yeah, whales playing games. Yeah, large entities are going to play games, and they're going to try to basically set kind of a higher floor in the market. And it's a question of, are we going to see that spark a little bit of adoption? Are we going to see that make us extend further? I will say Shiba Inu has climbed to number 18 overall, which would technically be number 16 because, again, I don't count stable coins, but it flipped Ton coin. That's a great sign there. We still got a little bit of work to do. Obviously, Shiba Inu Had been targeting the top 10 before, but we do have to start making some bigger, broader extensions here. What that's going to take, guys, is overall sentiment increase in the market, overall optics from outside the space. So this week, again, pay attention to the tariff news. Next week is crypto week. So we're going to see a lot of crypto legislation trying to make its way through the House and Senate to get passed. We also have a CPI report taking place next week. Later this month, we have actually the FOMC meeting. We have the Q2 GDP report. So there's a lot of big things that could actually kind of turn into this snowball of good news that could cause the market to go on some exciting rallies. I'd said that July and August are probably going to be green months historically in the year following the halving. They have led us to some pretty exciting times. So we'll just have to watch and wait and see what happens. But hopefully today we can get SHIB going on a good note. We can flip this thing green and start to target the top of our trend and break out to the upside. So appreciate you guys. Have a great day. Show your love below. Catch you guys in the next one. Take care.